Hi everyone, it's Norm here. On today's episode, we'll be learning about the maple leaf mussel. So this is a little bit more of interesting species at risk than you may think. So stay tuned to learn all about it. If we're being honest, I don't think too many people out there can be able to properly ID all the different mussels that we have here in Manitoba, at least not the average person. However, with the maple leaf mussel, it may just be one of the easier mussels here to identify. And that's because it's the only one in all of Manitoba that has these nodules or bumps on the outside of the shell. So that's a key ID characteristic for the maple leaf mussel. Now, how it got its name, maple leaf, has to do with the ID as well. So it's said to look similar shape as a maple leaf, which I don't really see that well. But the other reason it got that name maple leaf is to do with wood. So wood or trees have growth rings on them, and on the outer shell it does sort of look like the growth rings of a tree. So that one makes sense to me. Maple leaf mussels are greenish, yellowish, or even a little bit brown in color, and their average size is about 12 centimeters across. So that makes it one of the largest mussels we have here in Manitoba. Maple leaf mussels are found in slow-moving bodies of water that have a hard-packed or clay bottom. So here in Manitoba, we can find maple leaf mussels in the Red River and the lower reaches of the Assiniboine River and the lower reaches of the Roseau River. So the mussels themselves play a vital role in these waterways. They act as a natural filter, filtering through about 40 liters per day per mussel, and they're going to be absorbing bacteria and algae to feed on. So it's important for the mussel as well to keep their waterways healthy, because this is where they spend their entire life. So the life cycle of the maple leaf mussel is actually quite interesting. It starts with spawning, which happens in late spring, and what happens is the male will release sperm into the water, and the female will siphon it in, where she will keep her brood inside her shell until they start to develop. Now, when the juveniles start to grow, juveniles also called glochidia, they're old enough to be released out of the shell. Now, this is the part that gets really interesting. The maple leaf mussel is actually a sort of a parasite. It relies on a bit of a host at this part of its age. So the host here in Manitoba is the channel catfish. So what happens is, at this point, the female, just before she's about to release the glycodia, she protrudes a piece of her body called the mantle, and it essentially acts as a fishing lure, dangles in front of her, and it attracts the host, the catfish, to come and investigate. When they're close enough, she'll release the juveniles, and hopefully the juveniles will be able to attach themselves to the host's gills. And it is here where they'll stay for approximately 2 months, absorbing the nutrients from their host. So sort of an interesting way of starting your life. The percentage of glochidia that reach their maturity is extremely low. So when it comes to that life cycle being so complex, there's a lot that can go wrong. First of all, they have to attach themselves to the correct host. If they attach to another species of fish that isn't suitable, then they'll die. Once they're ready to leave that host, they must be dropped into suitable habitat. They have no control of that. It's wherever they are or wherever the fish is at that point. Once they're on their own, then they're very sensitive to environmental conditions, not to mention things like predation. So if we add that in with the decreasing quality of their habitat, our waterways, it equals a decrease in numbers of our maple leaf mussels here in Manitoba. So what's interesting is they are a species at risk to keep our eye on, because if we do that, we can sort of pair that with the health of our waterways. So in that way, the maple leaf mussel is a little bit of an important one to keep our eyes on. Thanks everyone for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.